My name is Moira McGee, and I am the mother of a poster child from the Hospital for Sick Children. His name is Devin. I live in the Waterloo region, and unfortunately, I have not been able to establish any kind of a working relationship with the police. I guess what I hope to accomplish tonight at City Hall is to make everybody understand that there are fabrications in my medical reports and my police reports, and they need to be addressed and they need to be remedied. I'm not going to be profiled as an extremely aggressive mental health patient. And secondly, the police are going to need to deal with me to deal with the incredible stress that they know that I've experienced in this community. All right, so what's happening here is what I've tried to do is arrange with the police, my local police, to help me address the post-traumatic stress disorder that I have and to minimize the amount of triggering that they do. They come and they don't know anything about me, and I have to relive the entire nightmare again. One of the things that I wanted to do to be able to assist them so that they don't knock down my door is I put this chalkboard up there. So every day before I go out, like tonight when I leave, I'll write right here, Regional Council Meeting. That's where Moira is going to be today. Please don't knock down my door. Lots of trauma in my life. I've had a difficult life, but I've always found happiness, and I'm proud of me for that. I struggle with suicidal thoughts. I have since I was 14, a survivor of some abuse. An American came here and he gave my son a loaded Derringer in a sock, for real. He's 14 years old. Devin put the gun away and took it out when he was 18 years of age. He was going through a lot. He'd had some major abdominal issues and a surgery that went very bad and a foreign reaction. And he decided to put the gun to his head to take his life. I didn't make it home in time. When I did get home, he had redecorated his flat and there was a detailed suicide note. In my panic, I phoned the police. The police at that time arrested him, and it carried a mandatory 3-year jail sentence, a death sentence for my son, because it means that he can no longer cross the border. My son now, never having had a parking ticket and graduated an Ontario scholar, is a criminal. There was no amnesty, and his mother made the error of phoning the police that day, thinking they would protect. But their objective that day was to punish. There was absolutely zero application of the Mental Health Act. I mean, he's a young man who's dealing with some very, very complex medical issues. Pisses me off. I'm not going to stop talking. I'm free to say whatever I want. It's my privilege under the Human Rights Act. If I want to say I feel like taking my life today, I'm going to do that. Our message right now in suicide prevention is that we've all got to talk about it. I'm so pissed off. This is the Hospital for Sick Children corner. Here's like just a small portion of his hospital bracelets collected to about the age of, I believe it was 13. Right here, these are the little dolls that I would make him to help him understand what was going on with his body. Absolutely outrageous. These are only a small portion of the medical records. They're good for nothing right now. The only way you get answers for your children these days would be if your child dies. Right now my son is still alive. I'm trying to get him to America so I can address these medical problems. These are all of the newspaper articles that I'm in. Some of them are other things, but a lot of these news articles are the life of a crazy advocate. Everything from death threats that were leveled against us to an organization for abused women that I founded, and the list goes on and on and on. Right here, this would be me and Mr. Alan Rock. Angry Mum Nabs Rock on Health Commitment. Guess what? Angry Mum is back. I want you to address these concerns I have. This isn't right what's going on. I've tried repeatedly to ask them to help me address the incredibly traumatic issues that I have survived in this city. One of them is the bank was robbed by 3 armed robbers. The bank robber thought I wasn't listening. So with that, he put the gun in my face like that. Might you let me live today? He did let me live that day. Thank you for letting me live that day. Thank you very much for that.
You're going to City Regional Council tonight
to say that I want the police to deal with me with an educated mind. I don't want them coming here and re-triggering me with their guns every time that I see them. This isn't reasonable. They come here, I'm triggered, I don't even allow them in my home anymore. First of all, every single police officer that's dispatched out of Highway 24 should know what my history is. It's what I need so that they don't come here and trigger me. Basically what I wanted was Ken Sealing, Jim Topham, and Matt Torrigan to come together with all of their collective resources and wisdom and put together a letter of understanding that says there was a misunderstanding, that none of that ever happened the way it's written up to have been. What a nightmare, man. I can't believe that I'm doing this. I'm so disappointed in all of those professionals for not figuring out a way to work together. It's absolutely nuts. All right, whatever. Too much stress for one person, this stuff, man. It's incredible. I got so many boulders in my path. Okay, we're all ready. This is my suicide pin right here. It means I've survived suicide. I put it on every day because I lived yesterday. I want to understand how it is that they can apprehend somebody and bring them to Grand River Hospital for assessment when they're perfectly fine, and yet a young medically fragile 18-year-old child can put a loaded Derringer to his head and leave a detailed suicide note, and they take him to jail. They missed a valuable opportunity there to put him into the mental health care system. They knew that they had a kid that was medically fragile. Like, this is just nuts. There's no reason for this. And I want everybody to realize that, like, the importance of medical records is absolute paramount. And working in the independent medical examination field, I know this to be an absolute fact. It's a bit frightening. Look at the gaping wounds. Like they were playing dot to dot on his abdomen. If you were 18 years old and you were going through this, like maybe you might do something like that. Here he is right here. You can see that this hospital stuff has been going on his whole entire life. Look at the little guy. He's so cute. Here he is getting ready for his graduation where he became the Ontario Scholar. This is the size of him when he was robbed on a bus at gunpoint in California. See, I can't do this in California when we left for a day to have a good time and went to Knott's Berry Farm. He was robbed on a bus at gunpoint. If I thought that there could be justice found in the halls of justice, I might try. Here's what my son looked like when he put that loaded Derringer to his head to take his life. The biggest mistake I made was I phoned the police that day. They took him to jail when it made my son a criminal who has always had to go to America for health care since he was an infant. So they gave my kid a death sentence. I find it despicable that my son isn't allowed to go to America, but that American who gave my son a loaded Derringer in a sock, and he gets to come back and forth across the border at will and give a Derringer to somebody else. This is the deal. This is the regional council for the region of Waterloo. So I'm coming in here to say that this is 3 times now the police have completely conducted themselves inappropriately in my mind, and I want it addressed. The system, in my opinion, isn't appropriate. You and I went to the Law Society of Upper Canada. We met with Stinder Lal there, who's the commissioner, the Complaints Resolution Commissioner, He ruled in my favor.
Yeah, he did.
And then it goes right back to the Law Society, who say, we're going to tell that commissioner to take a long walk on a short pier. You go to the very top and you win, and then the people below him tell him to go to hell. You know what? You can all go to hell.
Whatever his ruling was to be, I thought that's what it was going to be. And he rules in her favor, and in the end, they just did what they want anyway. I was witness to that, so that was terrible.
He's an ombudsman for the Law Society of Upper Canada, in essence, for us, the people, and he has no power whatsoever. It's just a joke.
It was a waste of time.
Figurehead.
Just a total waste of time.
I'm here tonight because I'm really concerned about suicide prevention in our region and how our police address the Mental Health Act and our paramedics. So for those of you, many of you know me in this room. I've been around for a long time. I've been an advocate in our region, and I've really made some substantial contributions, and I'm proud of that. The first time I ever seriously considered taking my life, I was 14 years old, and I was at the Sudbury Yacht Club. I went on, I had a few more bouts of it, and I haven't attempted to take my life since my early 20s. I have had probably 30 interactions with the police in the last 5 years alone, where they have come to my home on well person calls because somebody else has called them to tell them that I talked, and apparently that's what we're supposed to do, is talk. I have reached out to the police, and I spoke to the Police Services Board meeting. Ken is very well aware of that. And I said that we needed to deal with me differently in our region because I have major trauma in our region. Unfortunately, I walked into the middle of our bank robbery here with 3 armed robbers, and I don't want to see guns in my home anymore. This is my son. He's an amazing young man, been having to go to America since he was a child for his care. A man came to Canada, his name is Captain Jack Cottrell. He's a frequent traveler here, and he gave my son a loaded Derringer in a sock. My son was going through some massive surgical complications. 4 years later, just beyond the age of 18, he put that Derringer to his head to take his life. The police came to my home. Their concept that day, it was not about protection, it was about punishing my son, and they made him a criminal. What they don't realize is they gave my son a death sentence because my son can't get back to America. And I am personally here to hold you, Ken, responsible. Somebody has to help guide me because Matt will not talk to me. I'm not going to have police come out to my home day in and day out. This time they've been here twice this week. I don't even let them in the front door. It needs to stop. They're re-triggering me every single time they come to my home, and I am going to end up taking my life in this community. Something has to give with my son, and somebody has to start talking. Because I need to get my son to America to keep my son alive. Do we want Moira McGee to be the mental health patient that gets shot by the Regional Waterloo Police because she tells them where to go every other day?
I thought you go well over time, so you want to wrap up.
Well, thank you very much for that. I am not Superwoman. I have so many boulders in my path. Work with me and the borders to try to figure out what we're going to do about my son. I need a voice.
Thank you for your presentation. I think the people that you've tried to work with have done as best they can do, and I have no advice for you at this stage of the game other than to continue to work with the people that you have been working with. Okay, I think you've had your time, Laura. Further.
Well, could we have can anybody stand up if they would like to be
All right,
here?
we're done.
No kidding, Ken. Can I expect that anything will come out of this meeting?
You have dealt with the people that you deal with at the Ontario Civilian Police Commission. If you have a complaint against the police, you've got all in terms of the records. There's nothing more this council can do.
Report, and you're not
We
addressing
are
it?
finished.
I'm asking you a
We're
question.
finished.
Excuse me.
Your time is up.
Your paramedics fabricated a report. Why are you not
Mr. Chairman,
addressing
we have a
it?
1-minute recess,
We're
okay?
gonna-
Let's recess.
We're going to recess for 1 minute, and then you have time to gather your things and we'll carry on with the meeting.
Okay, we have a recess, Mr. Chairman.
Ceiling was put a bit on the spot because you were talking to him and you talked to him directly. And even in the end, he ended up being an asshole.
He is an
Okay, your
asshole,
time is
isn't
up. You're done. You've already been dealing. He just told you to continue dealing with the people that have been letting you down. Everything I see with Moira, I've been through things with her. When we went to see the Is that what he was, an ombudsman for the Law Society or whatever
Yeah.
he was?
Yeah.
Like, with that, what happened there, with what happened in the Hamilton Police Station when I was with you, with what's happened in the Waterloo Regional Police Station when I was with you, I have no faith in anything to do with the system. The system is fucked. The people, they put people in power and in positions to look after, to say, like, maybe they're supposed to help people, they're supposed to do things for people. I don't see it happening.